Welcome back to Trekyards One Hit Wonders, guys. I'm your host, Captain Foley, and of course I have with me Commander Calkins.
Hi guys, welcome back.
Today's One Hit Wonder is a bit of a first for us, as this isn't really from any episode of Star Trek per se, but instead from one of the movies. So today we'll be taking a look at the whale probe from Star Trek 4. Nice. Yes, that's the whale one.
Yeah. So this probe obviously visited Earth in 2286, or Star Trek 4. And, well, its scale was never given, but we're going to get into it now. Because it was never given, there's some conflicting numbers. With one source, it said it was 5 miles long and 1.5 miles wide, which sounds huge because it is. At that scale, 8,000 meters is almost 3 times the length of the Doomsday Machine, which is huge, at 2,700 meters, and 2.5 times the size of a Borg cube. Huge, guys. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, and while some sources say that, as with any of the ships we examine, there's conflicting nature of information sometimes that comes up in our research. We found another estimate of the size to be around 70,000 meters in length.
That's almost 10 times that. Wow, okay, that's different.
Which makes it second in size only to V'ger, the V'ger craft from Star Trek The Motion Picture.
Wow.
As it is difficult to work out scale from the film, it is hard to say, but we know from the one shot that it dwarfs Earth's space dock, which is 3,800 meters long. So the idea that it's only 8,000 meters seems kind of unrealistic. And while the angle gives us no clear picture, we can certainly see it being closer to the 70,000 meters long. So pretty big.
Yeah. Huge. So obviously it's cylindrical in shape because that's kind of its thing, and it carries a small compared to the scale of the ship, deployable sphere, which was stowed internally at the front of the vehicle. Well, or back if it's going in reverse, we'll never know because it's just a big cylinder.
But it wasn't going beep, 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 so we assume it's going forward.
We'll go with that. And the sphere was capable of physically detaching from the probe, but was tethered via an energy beam of some sort. And based on the same shot from the movie, it looks like the section of the ship is actually comparable in size to Earth's space dock itself. Wow. Wow.
It's huge.
Yeah.
The sphere was a communications device and also had the ability to impact local power systems as well as a planet's entire ecosystem.
As we saw in the movie, many ships were left powerless and adrift in the probe's wake. It was first detected by the USS Saratoga in the neutral zone before totally disabling all power systems aboard the Saratoga. And during its course to Earth, it disabled 2 Klingon cruisers and at least 7 other Federation ships. So, how rude, guys. Come on. Couldn't just said hi? No.
Is this his way of saying hi there to the people of the Earth? No. Once arriving in orbit around Earth, it then disabled Earth's space dock in a matter of seconds and all other Earth defenses before directing its disruptive communication signal towards Earth's oceans. It then proceeded to start vaporizing the oceans, and as a result of this, created a planet-wide impenetrable cloud, which soon caused global temperatures to plummet rapidly.
Wow, what a probe. And it was determined by Kirk and the crew of the now stolen Klingon bird of prey.
The HMS Bounty.
The signal it was emitting was actually a call to an extinct species of whale known as humpbacks, which was, of course, very, very bad for us because there were no more humpbacks left. No, why did we do that? Go on, guys.
So clearly the species that created the probe had made contact with humpback whales sometime far into Earth's past, likely before humans had evolved on the planet. So
how strange. But I guess if dolphins are super intelligent hitchhikers, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is in the 1992 novel called Probe, original, which is actually the sequel to Star Trek 4, which is really awesome. It was discovered that Probe was actually constructed by beings that resembled Earth's own citations, so beings like the whales. In this book, the probe is also referred to as the Traveller, and it's a good and interesting book and definitely worth a read.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a great book. It was also determined that the probe considered humans as mere mites and unimportant. There was even evidence discovered that the probe had in fact been attacked, likely by a Borg cube, sometime prior to the events of Star Trek 4, and that some of its crystal memory was damaged. Thus, its course to Earth and erratic behavior upon getting no response from the whales that were apparently very abundant in Earth's past. And this is all as per the novel, The Probe. So
a Borg cube attacked it? Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think it actually says mites in metal cubes when they download the memory files from it. So
that does sound like Borg cubes. Wow, that's
Very interesting, actually.
So does that mean that it travelled through the Delta Quadrant then?
Very likely. It could be from another galaxy, as far as we know. So who knows where it came from?
And that's part of the fun. So on to behind the scenes, guys. The original probe was in fact designed by Nilo Rodius Gemero.
The model was given a barnacle-type hull texture to resemble aquatic life and was painted black and white.
And early concerns arose, though, because the model, well, when they filmed it, obviously you're filming these things on blue screen. That's how you take out the background you put in space. But problem with filming on blue is that if you have certain reflective surfaces, it can get a little blue glow, what we call blue spill. And these things, well, were appearing on the model when they filmed, so it just wasn't usable. So minor changes were made to the colour, so this would be fine and dandy, and they could actually use it for the movie.
Yeah, the simplistic design was also a concern, as they did not want it to appear as a large hot water tank floating in space.
And I hadn't thought of that until you said that. Wow, that, yeah.
I know. Well, some people are getting paid a lot of money to design these things, and they designed a cylinder.
Classic cylinder.
It's true.
And the main model used to film was actually 8 foot long, just the same as the Enterprise, which is awesome, and 2 foot in diameter. However, a smaller model was also used for some shots. This model was tapered near the back to give the illusion of great size, and also to make it appear longer. And this model was used for shots where it appeared to be coming towards camera.
Yeah, and 6 bright halogen lights were used in the opening from which the ball-shaped communications device would emerge. Then a clear tube of plexiglass was used to secure the ball to the opening and create the illusion of an energy beam, which was holding it in place.
Cool. And I mean, if you watch the high definition, Blu-rays of it, it still looks pretty good. It looks like an energy beam. So well done, model makers.
It's great.
Yeah. So onto discussion now. Simplicity is the hallmark of design. TOS is a good sign of that. And with the pure power and size of this ship, wow, it must have been a serious race that designed and just building. I mean, to build that, almost unfathomable, honestly. And I remember the impression I faced when the first time I saw this ship. It was one of the first truly alien ships, the first alien race. I mean, V'ger obviously sort of Voyager 6 and all that jazz, but this really felt like an alien, too many aliens. And a race, obviously, that, because of the pure scale, like you said before, the metal mites, whatever, really felt like we're the ants on the Earth, and I guess the whales are the true inhabitants of the Earth to them. I don't know. And then this combined with the pure scale and size gives it such a powerful nature, even if it's just such a simple design, because it is just a cylinder. And I actually kind of love that there's just one other piece to design, the communications array. It's elegant, and it's an awesome communications array, I guess, and it descends, and it does that. And it's all the ship needs, because it's a probe. I guess. I don't know. It's a big mystery. The ship has always been a big mystery, and I think that's awesome. And I love that. Knowing nothing about it is part of the fun of the movie. And even after reading the book called The Probe, which you'd think all about the probe, I just don't know as much. And it's still always going to be the whale probe to me, and that's awesome.
Yeah. The use of this cigar, as I've always referred to it, was interesting. It definitely appears very alien, and it's a rather cool approach to designing a probe. The probe's early concept was to slightly resemble a whale. Now, whether they actually
fins at the bottom, that's a terrible design.
Or they actually pulled that off or not, I'm not sure. But although to see a black object with no lights gliding silently through space and being barely visible has always been a great visual and seemed a little creepy to me as a kid.
Yeah. And since I've already sort of said this is where we say we don't like about the ship or the probe, whatever. Since I already said I like the mystery, I can't say I don't like that part. And since I already said I like the simplicity, I can't say I don't like the design. So, whoops. It's like the ultimate, super powerful alien ship. I mean, V'ger, you can go inside and find Voyager 6 and blow it up, whatever. But what's inside this? And who is it and where's it from? We just know nothing about it. Nothing. Well, at least canon anyway. I think it's a simple design that works. And if it was in the movie anymore, I don't think it would have. If a filmmaker said, let's have a space battle in Wolf 359, it would have completely destroyed the coolness and just the effect of it. Not only would it have fallen apart in terms of camera and lighting, but also the fleet of ships would have fallen apart just by going near it, so that wouldn't have worked either. Like I said, there isn't really anything I don't like. It's a whale probe. It's the whale probe. It's the whale probe to me. As a perfect little niche place in Star Trek history, and if I had to pick something I don't like, because we always have to do that for the show, it's how slow it is. I mean, sub-light speed, guys. It's a big galaxy, and trying to sub-light speeds would take thousands of years to go beyond Federation space, because it's going to be beyond Federation space for us never to have seen the race before. and just take years. So I don't see that as really being very realistic. It's a bit weird.
But maybe it could go a lot faster, and it's actually from another galaxy, so it spent all of its resources getting from galaxy to galaxy. And now it's just kind of biding its time and just kind of recharging itself as it approaches its destination. Who knows?
Well, maybe, but we know it obviously had to travel from the neutral zone to Earth. That's quite a long distance at sublight. So I don't know. It's a very slow vessel. I think that's a bit weird.
Yeah. Well, I can honestly say that I'm not a huge fan of this design. I think it could have been made to look more technological in nature, but then I think it would have taken the mystery out of it, like you said. Yeah. But like, what was it constructed of? How did it operate? It's a little reminiscent of the Doomsday Machine, and it almost seems like it's a very similar element that was used in the construction of the hull, which was neutronium. Mm. So who knows? Maybe it's even designed by the same race.
Yeah, I don't know. Preservers or whatever. But Stuart, I mean, just to go off the script a little bit here. So when we're discussing this, I kept thinking, I mean, we talked about the scale. It's a ginormous craft. It's a probe. Probe implies a small scout sort of thing, but this, you can fit several Earth space docks, and Earth space docks you can fit several ships in. So you can probably fit hundreds of enterprises of all sorts in this probe. Mm-hmm. I mean, is it solid? Is it hollow? I mean, okay, I mean, what do you think? But I've got a theory after that.
Well, like I said, when I was younger, I always thought like it was always a mystery, and it was, like you said, it seemed very alien, and it was really interesting. But I always imagined it being solid for some reason.
Yeah, it has that sort of texture, that sort of feel. But okay.
It looks like rock. You know what I mean? It looks just like a solid piece of rock with the little probe, and the probe was the whole thing that was doing everything. And it just, I don't know.
It's a weird design, but okay, I've got a theory though. So this scale, like I said, is huge. What if it's not a probe in the sense of an unmanned probe? What if it's okay? So if you build a ship, a massive cylinder this size, you can hide a ship in it. Several ships, a fleet of ships. So what if you constructed the outer hull in an almost impenetrable material? You gave it automatic heading, go do this, go do that. And then what if there was a crew on board that was in stasis? And then when it got to a place, they could come out of stasis, go in their ships, and launch out. I mean, doesn't it make sense based on the size and just the... I mean, it kind of feels like you could put stuff in there. It doesn't make sense to have a fleet, and then you could actually explore. So why not send the probe as actually the entire exploration fleet, but have it all automated, and then only when you need the ships you have them out. So
yeah, I actually really like that idea. It's kind of like a carrier then instead of a probe.
Yeah.
And maybe, they said it had been damaged by mites and metal cubes. Maybe the memory engrams, since they were damaged, it just, once it arrived at its destination, it was supposed to take people out of the intelligent life out of stasis and have them communicate with whatever's on Earth and say, what's going on? We can't hear the whales anymore. What'd you do to them? But instead, it failed to bring them out of stasis and didn't know what to do and just kind of went haywire. And who knows? I mean, I like that theory a lot.
Or even just the whales said, nah, it's cool, and therefore no need to release the ships. But another thing I want to bring up, you say, it has a fleet inside. I think that makes even more sense because we know this, the sphere that comes down has communication functions, but we don't know it's a communications array purely,
Mm-hmm.
If it is, then I think that, when it was communicating with the whales and finding them not being there, it was destroying the oceans, but maybe that was like a detailed scan. I don't think that is really a weapon. It's quite a strange weapon if it is. And even, maybe it was just a Scotty miracle, our weapons have been damaged by the Borg, say, so let's use the communications array to cause some sort of disturbance and destroy the planet as revenge, I guess. But what if that wasn't the weapons were actually inside with a fleet? Because I never got the sense it was attacking Earth in the same way that we would consider attacking. So, I think it makes even more sense to be something inside a ship, a fleet, whatever.
Yeah, I totally love that idea.
Trekyards, that's what we do here.
Exactly. The theory makers, that's us.
Yes. So that's it, isn't it? For Well Probe.
Yeah, that's it for our first movie-related one-hit wonder.
Awesome.
So the probe was indeed an interesting addition to the Star Trek franchise. It made you feel that there was still a lot out there that we don't understand. Yeah. Kind of like our discussion just demonstrated. So thanks anyway, guys, for joining us today. We look forward to hearing all your thoughts and comments about the probe down below. Please, if you enjoyed this video, give the like and subscribe button a click. And be sure to check out trekyards.com for all our past episodes in case you've missed any. Also follow the Facebook group and drop by Twitter to check us out on there as well. Till next time, guys. That's Will for see you next week, guys.
Bye.